Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. I'm on a mission to get it all. Ride through the city like Brennan Schaub. If you ain't thick, please don't get involved.
And now, Brandon Thick Boy Schaub.
What is poppin'? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, fam. It is January 2nd, and 2023 is coming in hot. Doesn't it sound weird to say that? 2023? Jesus Christ, we're living in iRobot. It is insane. It doesn't feel like a new year, does it? Doesn't feel like a new year. The time off for the holidays, the whole Thick Boy staff had, 2 weeks off, damn near a year and a half. Or, I'm sorry, year and a half, you wish. Week and a half off. I had some time off. Time off is good. Time off is good. It's also a lot of work, isn't it? You think you're just chilling, but it's a lot, dude. It is a lot. Yeah, my pop was in town. Papa came in town. I didn't get any pictures with him. I don't think I've been posting a lot lately. I've been off of posting the kiddos. Yep, most of my boy Greg, who passed away. I can't get too much in that, or otherwise I will start crying. But yeah, my friend Greg passed away. That's a tough one. And the thing is with that is, Greg, you can take those pictures down too. I'll start crying, buddy.
Yep,
thing about that is I usually just double down on work when things aren't going well. I just always focus on work to take my mind off of it. But I think this is the first kind of trauma I've had in my life where I didn't feel like working. I canceled all my sets. Sure as hell didn't feel like being funny on stage. Didn't feel like doing a podcast. So the time off was good in that aspect. That one was tough. And if I talk too much about it, you guys won't have a show. You guys know me. I don't miss, man. I do not miss. I feel like I have an obligation to everyone who listens to the show not to miss. So I take pride in that. So could I have used today off? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Am I ready to get back to it? I don't know. But first time ever in my life, I didn't feel like working. And as far as stand-up goes, I cancel all my sets. So, something like that hits, the curveball, there's no way to really navigate. I've never had that happen before. I have friends who struggle with mental health, but I've never had one take his own life. And it's a weird feeling. I have a lot of anger, a ton of anger to say the least. And then just heartbroken, just can't stop crying, be honest with you. So that's why I probably look like this right now for you guys. But that was a tough one. I can't get too into it because we won't have a show. I'll start crying. So, shout out to my boy Greg, man. Shout out to Greg. Fight-wise, not a ton going on this week. You do have one major fight, though. 2023, it doesn't get much bigger than this. My boy George Squared are fighting this Saturday. The Commerce Casino, that's 6131 Telegraph Road, Commerce Casino, California. They're in SSP Fight Night 52. My boy George I'm proud of both of them. Chito George, you guys know his story, came from Chicago, was 400 plus pounds, got down to 190. Start off as a joke. There he is. Start off as a joke on
you got this, dude.
Fuck.
You got it.
Start off as a joke on King of the Sting, and then here he is, man, doing his thing. So I wish I was there, but I'll be in Vegas on tour. Wish I was there to see my boy George. I'm so proud of him. So you got Chito George fighting, you got Tall George fighting, and that is this Saturday, January 7th at 5 p.m. Pacific. Chin will be there.
Yep.
I'm going to send the boys a little Al Pacino any given Sunday motivational speech before they go out and fight. And hopefully you'll be able to FaceTime me or something so you can see how they're doing.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
I'm helping with their game plan and stuff like that. They better win or don't come back. So I'm proud of those boys, though, man. But that fight is going on Saturday. Unfortunately, Showtime or ESPN didn't pick up the coverage, which is news to me. So we'll post the results on the Thick Boy socials. But I'm very proud of those guys. Yeah, man. New year, new me. You guys, anyone in here set some New Year's resolutions? I don't really do them. My resolution is not making resolutions. I've never really done them. You know, I just kind of keep going. But I don't know. As far as New Year's resolutions, I don't know. Just kind of keep going. I don't really subscribe to that stuff. Those who do, no shame on it. If they get your ass in shape or get you to tighten things up, be more disciplined, more power to you. Update on the fish. My addiction has gotten worse. My addiction has gotten way worse. I need to post a video on my Instagram of how bad my addiction has gotten. It started off with one 30-gallon tank, and then it just reignited my passion for fish since I was a kid. I used to be balls deep in fish as a young boy. I did it for my son, and then it just opened up Pandora's box into this fish world, and it is deep. So currently I have 3 fish tanks. My first fish tank about 10 days ago, and I have 3 fish tanks. I have a 75-gallon tank, 60-gallon tank, and a 30-gallon tank. And I have, I'm still a 1-stripe white belt in fish tanks, but man, I am getting to blue belt pretty fast. The Flu Vault canister filters are second to none. They're not cheap, but they definitely clean the hell out of those fish tanks. I'm dealing with testing the waters every day, every few hours with ammonia. Ammonia kills fish. You got to get the nitrogen cycle rolling. So the 75-gallon tank is up right now with no fish in it, and I'm just letting that cycle take place before I add the new fish to it. I haven't had any casualties as far as fish goes, and I take pride in that. Because when you do a tank and you didn't do it the proper way and let this nitrogen cycle run its course before you add fish, you run into some problems. I'm an ichthyologist. An ichthyologist.
I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Ichthyologist. Ichthyologist. Got if you're on a list, do that. Yeah, man. So I take pride in none of the fish have died because I've spent way too much money on freaking fish because I like the weird rare fish. So none of them have died. I keep testing the waters, and I'll change water. I've done 3 water changes, which is such a beast. But once, I'm in the thick of it, guys. All you fish lovers out there, you know what it's like going through with the fish tanks, getting those cycles, making sure the nitrates and the ammonia are low for the fish. Then you do the water changes. But once that tank gets running, once that bad boy's in cruise control, it's just about enjoying the fish and feeding them. But right now, your boy is knee deep in ammonia and fish shit. And that's what caused the ammonia. Because you got to think about it. Fish are swimming in their own toilets, right? With poop and food. And they don't eat all the food. And most people overfeed their fish. It's just what you guys do. You overfeed the fish. The fish food goes to the bottom of the tank. It rots. That creates ammonia. Figure it out. Come on, dude. And the ammonia is poison to fish. So it's all about that. But again, once you get through the sticks of running this cycle, run the tank, and that bad boy gets rolling, and you don't have to worry about it. You got that healthy bacteria that eats all the ammonia and the bad nitrates. Dude, you're just sitting back, sipping your coffee, enjoying your cichlids, enjoying your Oscar fish, enjoying your piranhas, whatever you got in your tank, your lobsters. Now, I did have one problem, and then I'll move on to fighting after this. They told me not to have more than 1 lobster, but I don't listen. So I have 2 lobsters. I have one small lobster named Bluey. I have another lobster, small orange one named Slice. They will get bigger. Right now they're small. They're very smart. They hide. I was in the pet store, fish store, and they had a large red lobster, freshwater. Don't be get crazy. It's a freshwater lobster. So that's Slice right there. That's Slice. Now it says a crayfish. If I find out things not a lobster is crayfish, I'm pissed.
It's a freshwater lobster is basically a crayfish.
God damn it. See Bluey right there?
Which one?
That's him right there. See that blue lobster?
This one or this one?
That one. I have that exact lobster, dude. I have that exact lobster. Rick Ross texted me because I was talking about how crazy is that? I can't believe that's 2023 for you. Rick Ross DM me. Sorry, I didn't text. DM me and has talking about fish tanks. I'm balls deep with fish tanks. And we posted about it. He must have saw it because he DM'd me. He just installed a $700,000 fish tank. I don't even know what that looks like. I just responded, yeah, but do you have a blue lobster with sunglasses on? Didn't DM back. I ruined that relationship. So I have those 2 little lobsters. They had a big lobster. I named him Big Red. My son wanted him. The lady who's just cares so much about fish goes, 3 lobsters might get a little dicey, dude. And that one's big. Might kill the smaller ones. I went, you think? Talked to the guy. He goes, dude, you should be fine. I've had multiple lobsters in my tank. Not a big deal. I said, yeah, but will the cichlids and the Oscars eat that lobster? He goes, you'll be fine, dude. That lobster's big, has big claws. You'll be fine. That thing might get to a foot long, though, so you might have to switch tanks. I go, I'll deal with that when it grows. I buy Big Red, the lobster, my son's favorite lobster. I'm watching him. I'm like, man, he's not really hiding like the other lobsters. This boy's out and about. He's flashing. He's doing his thing, flexing all the other fish. A little too loud. And then I went to bed. I was like, man, everyone seems to be copacetic. Everyone seems to be getting along. Good night, fish. Go to bed. Wake up the next morning. Lobster's claws gone. Those Oscars and cichlids ripped his goddamn claws off. So I went, well, this is horrible. But he was still had a smile on his face, still flourishing. I went, let's move him to the other tank. Put him in the other tank, bigger tank. Have more places to hide, more, without able to defend himself. Now his 2 bazookas are gone. He's going to be fine. Put him in that tank. These fish go, hold up. You're telling me Big Red can't pinch us no more? I went, nope. He's in the tank. Be nice to him. They went, say less. We're having lobster for dinner. I woke up, floating tail. 1 tail. That's the only casualty we've had in running all this tank mess. The 1 casualty, not my fault, not due to the water temperature, not due to the ammonia. The one problem was Big Red, rest in peace, dude. We'll be thinking about you. He was a lobster dinner for my cichlids and the Oscars. Let's take a little break for me just chatting about fish and fighting. This new year, you've got goals, and Factor is here to help you achieve each and every one of them. Save time and have the energy you need to tackle everything on your to-do list with Factor's ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. Get Factor and not only skip the trip to the grocery store, but skip the chopping, the prepping, the cleaning up too. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat and enjoy. No matter what your lifestyle, Factor has meals to help you live it to the fullest with keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie, protein plus meals on the menu every single week, prepared by chefs, approved by dietitians. Each meal has all of the ingredients you need to feel satisfied all freaking day long. All right? Looking to cut back on takeout? You ain't lying. Get Factor instead. Not only is it Factor cheaper than takeout, but meals are ready quicker than restaurant delivery. It takes 2 freaking minutes. 2 minutes. All right? Get Factor. Enjoy clean eating without the hassle. All right? Simply choose your meals. Enjoy fresh, flavored, packed meals delivered straight to your door. Again, 2 minutes. It's easy to eat well and eat healthy. Achieve and maintain your goals this year. And I'm telling you, your diet is 90% of losing weight or getting in shape. It's all about diet, not how much you're working out. It's all about your diet. Let Factor help you out. America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, and start saving time, eating well, living your best year ever. Head to factor75.com/Schaub60. Use the code Schaub60, SCHAUB60. You get 60% off your first box. That's code Schaub60 at Factor75, FACTOR 75.com/Schaub60. You get 60% off your first box. Another little break here, then we'll get back to the program, kids. The fans, the tradition, the glory. There's nothing more thrilling than college football. I love college football. All I watch is college, really. And it all comes down to the Natty. The national championship is happening Monday. Next Monday, national championship. TCU, Georgia. Georgia really shouldn't be there because, but whatever. My go-to for betting is my friends at DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, all right? And right now, new customers can bet just $5 on college football. There's one game left next Monday, TCU, Georgia. Georgia's big favorites. If they play like they did against Ohio State, they will probably lose, but I think they're going to tighten things up and get it done, but they are big favorites, man. So I like betting on the dog there. I think TCU is underrated. But put your money where your mouth is, kids. If you're a big Horned Frog fan, put your money where your mouth is, all right? New customers can bet $5 on any college football game, but there's only one left. So if you bet $5 on the national championship, you get $200 in free bets instantly, win or lose. Plus, everyone can combine multiple bets for a bigger payout with DraftKings same-game parlays. Like, if you are going to bet on TCU, take them and then take the over. Combine them. Make more money. Make bank, bro. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use code Schaub Show, SCHAUB Show. New customers bet, again, $5 on the national championship, and you get $200 in free bets instantly. That's code Schaub Show. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age, eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Now let's get back to the program. You know? So it's part of it, Chin. Sometimes you lose some. You crack some eggs and make an omelet. But you don't want ammonia in the omelet either, dude. You know? It's tough, guys. So, yeah, I can't wait for that 75-gallon tank to get running up and running. I'm going to shoot a video of all of the fish stuff, how balls deep I'm in, so you guys can see all the tanks. I have a saltwater one coming on in March for my birthday. 4 tanks. Deuce Bigelow. What's up? Can't get enough of fish right now. As you can tell, I've been balls deep into fish. I wake up, my kids are running around. All I do is stare at fish. Can't get enough of them. My favorite are the Oscars because they're not shy. I wanted piranhas. We're thinking about putting a tank in Thick Boy Studio. I want piranhas. You guys ever seen piranhas? They're real shy, dude. They're boring. They're like little 14-year-old Asian girls, and they hide in the wood. I want my fish out and about. Personality. Oscars have personality. Certain cichlids, personality. Flower child cichlids, personality. Piranhas, shy. They hide. And then if you don't feed them, watch your hands. Watch your hands. They've been known to bite their owner's hands. When you dangle the food over, they're like, oh, dude, here's our only chance for food. Boom, fingers. So I don't know if piranhas are the answer is what I'm trying to get to here. I don't know if piranhas they're too shy for me. Oscars are not shy. Oscars like having 3 dogs with scales in water. They come up. You can pet them. All species of piranha are on California's list of restricted animals. Cannot be imported or transported without a permit.
How do you get a permit?
Try me. You don't think I can find piranhas on the dark web, dude? You don't think I'll have a barracuda by next Tuesday? You don't think I'll have a baby great white by next Thursday? You know they've never been able to captivate, put in captivity a great white? That's how gangster great whites are. If you limit them like a lion or tiger, they would rather die. How crazy is that? Asians try it all the time. China, they're like, nah, we'll figure it out. Never. They just keep killing great white. I'm like, well, we'll make soup out of it. In America, we've tried. It just doesn't work. That's how gangster great whites are. It's one of my favorite animals. I can't emphasize enough how much I love fish right now. And the food, dude, I have special food. I have bloodworms for them. I give them frozen bloodworms. Nothing makes me more excited to watch them eat the bloodworms. The flakes, old school. There's little pellets just for cichlids. You have baby pellets, medium pellets, adult pellets. It's fun to watch, dude. Then I have eels too. Of course I have eels. The eels, they just do, I call the eels the trash men. They do all the stuff at the bottom. All the stuff at the bottom. You know the sucker fish, the plecos? Gangster fish. You guys probably didn't think about that. They have tough casings on the outside so they can survive against cichlids and Oscars.
Pleco.
Yeah, they have really tough exterior, and they just stick on the glass so they don't cause a scene, dude. Just let them clean the windows. Don't hate on them. Let them clean the windows. But they move very slow so they don't draw a lot of attention. And then if they do try to bite the back of their skin, dude, they're little tanks. You see his, like, that's a tank. He basically has Batman's suit on right there. See it? Look at that. Yeah. Plecos get that big, dude. That's real Pleco. Is that a fucking stealth bomber jet or a Pleco fish? You tell me, Chin.
No,
how sick looking is that? Yeah, they're the janitors of the tank, but they're very beneficial. All that algae, but here's the thing. You're probably listening to this going, oh my God, I want a Pleco now. I'm going to go buy a tank. Don't do it. Give that tank some time to create algae so he has something to eat. Otherwise, he's going to starve. This is Fish 101. They're cute, though. See the little sucker mouths? They're a good time, man, for a tank. And they're tough. You need tough fish if you like aggressive fish. You need tough fish. Shout out to Plecos. Are Pleco catfish aggressive? The answer is they can be. If they don't have a place to hide, they can be. That's another thing. You gotta be careful with the decoration of the tanks too, because if you give them too much hiding places, it becomes territorial with aggressive fish. They have to have open waters, Chin. Open. They have a place to hide. They get aggressive. I didn't know that at first. I was like, why are they fighting all the time? Because one was trying to, mark his territory. This is my little tree stump, dude. Don't come up in here. It was basically like a prison yard for a while. Whites, blacks, Mexicans.
And also when you're fishing, usually those spots where they can hide behind a tree or brush is where they can ambush their prey.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's why it's kind of like instinctive for them.
It's fun to watch, but I felt like Michael Vick fighting dogs for a second there. I'm like, oh, they told me not to mix these aggressive fish for this reason. So that's how I ended up with 3 tanks. Can't let them die. So then my business manager, I didn't know most people are still on holiday. I didn't know. Do you guys know? Most people take today off too?
I didn't know, but I found out later. And that's why because the traffic was
When I was driving in,
it was
I was
awesome.
like, is there some sort of warning I don't know about?
Observed.
I got to the coffee shop and I was like, you guys are open? They're like, hell yeah, we're open. I'm like, where is everybody? Like, well, it's still kind of holiday. I'm like, it's Monday. How much holiday do you need? How much time you need off? You spend too much time by yourself. You're just stuck with your thoughts, man.
Which can get rough.
Yeah, I saw they did like, forget what article it was. It was like everybody's New Year's resolution should be less time on their phones and showed a cell phone. And then showed why. And because like when you think about it, if you're at like the gas station or you're somewhere, wherever, you're waiting in line at a market or whatever, that's usually before phones, your time to think and process stuff and like get creative. But now you're just kind of zombie mode looking through your phone at Twitter or Instagram, going through the stories. So your brain's not, the creative juices or the problem solving's not happening anymore for people. It's not good. There's a New Year's resolution. I'm not really on my phone as it is, but for the rest of you freaks out there, if you're looking for a New Year's resolution, there you go. Let's get to fighting. Fans are like, thank God, dude. This guy is fucking fish, dude. Yeah, if you're not into fish, fast forward. I need to get on that show Tanks. But I really have to step. You know what it'd be like a show Cribs. Remember, it really wasn't their crib. They like spice it up. I probably need that for Tanks. Like, damn, I know Brendan had a rare albino barracuda. I don't. They brought that over for the show. Because if I just show you my fish now compared to Tanks, this is the other thing. Like, no, I was just gonna say this about like the fish community. I've had so many people reach out and help me, and, like, be so cool and be like, "Hey, man." Usually, people when they get into fish, the first 2 weeks because of the tank and the nitrogen cycle, people stop because it's a lot to deal with. Just grind out for the 2 weeks, and you're gonna be so happy. Oh wow, that's not good. Let me read that.
Apparently, it was a huge hit, but then this is why it was.
Let me read it. Hold on. And so, the first 2 weeks of owning a fish tank, if you're going for like big aggressive fish or big tanks, I'm talking 70 gallons and up, big tanks. People quit in the first 2 weeks because of that nitrogen cycle. It's a lot, and fish die, and they're like, all right, forget this, too much. But if you can just power through it, pay attention for 2 weeks, then you're in the clear and you can enjoy the fish. But I've had so many people reach out with tips like, all right, you messed up putting the fish in the water, not letting it run its nitrogen cycle, but this is what I did. I did the same thing. A lot of fish people do that. I've had so many people in the fish community reach out. Dope environment, dope culture, so dope. Everyone's so helpful. The exact same thing in biking. I still bike all the time, but remember when I got balls deep in biking, still balls deep in it. The biking community, same thing, so helpful. Hey, do this, try this, change your tire to this. Have you done this, path? Have you done this? Have you used this app? Like, just, there's these weird kind of, I don't want to say weird. Weird's not the right word for it, but there's like these, it's not even niche. Obviously, riding bikes and, aquariums is a big market, but it's just within those markets, like those cultures are so helpful.
They're very specific communities of awesome
where they're
people,
like, oh shit, like, obviously if they listen to this for fighting or they listen to Fighting the Kid or Golden Hour for comedy or they come to my comedy show, there's nothing to talk about fish. So if they happen to listen to this, they're fight fans and they're into fish, then it just like, oh, you need to check out this YouTube or this thing. Like, damn, thanks, dude. I had no idea because you're new to it. So it's pretty cool. It gives you hope in people. People are cool, man. So Tanked has officially been canceled, so I'm not going on that show. Animal Planet tells TMZ after 15 fantastic seasons, the series came to a natural end late last year. God damn it. Fact is, ratings for the show, which follows a Las Vegas aquarium manufacturer as they install epic custom tanks for celebs, have been tanked.
or have been in the tank. Maybe it started going down. Maybe
Why is there a mugshot?
Something about domestic abuse on.
I assume they're still building tanks. So if you go down to why did tank get canceled? I mean,
I think it's the same one. Oh, that is, yeah.
Dental Plan Corona's tank discounts after spouse stars deal with domestic abuse charges. Can't have that.
Nope.
Were they hitting fish too? Do we know? Were they hitting the fish? It is frustrating. It is frustrating. Some of them look meaty. Some of my fish, I'm like, that thing could take a few blows. But you don't want to hit fish, man.
By the way, catfish are probably the strongest fish that I ever had to hit. Because when I catch fish to eat.
Talking about when you murder them?
Because I don't want them to suffer. When I hit them in the heads, they're the ones that will last the longest.
Oh, catfish
are
are
hit like crazy.
Dude, you can get catfish in a tank, Chin.
I know. Dude, and usually they're like bottom feeders, but they're also very aggressive with
They're
prey,
cool. Yeah, I like the aggressive fish. They're fun. They're more fun to watch.
Yeah.
Piranhas are aggressive,
They get
but
big.
they're just
They get
shy.
so big.
That's the thing. Like my Oscars do have 3 babies right now, but the guy's like, oh, they'll get a foot long in 6 months. And then you get a new tank. I'm like, good problem to have.
And your tanks are freaking huge now, so you can do it.
I could do it. I could put the 3 Oscars when they're foot long in the 75-gallon tank, but just them. You can't put them with other fish unless you're looking for a straight up prison brawl. Again, I enjoy, dude. I feel like the Michael Vick of fighting fishes. That's what I feel like right now. You gotta be careful combining certain fish. It's so interesting, dude.
Yeah.
So interesting. All right, let's get to fighting. Listen, it's a slow. Everyone takes most of the beginning of the year off. This is news to me. I don't know holidays, but the biggest thing was Bellator versus Rizin. They did a collab where they had the Bellator superstars versus the Rizin superstars, the main card. A lot of people think John Dotson was fighting on this. John Dotson was just part of the Rizin 40, so that had nothing to do with Bellator and Rizin. But John Dotson did starch Hideo Tokoro in a minute 43. Starched him. Looked fantastic too. I love John Dotson.
Mm-hmm. That guy was super tall too compared to John.
Yeah, John's tiny.
It looked crazy.
John's such a good dude. Love John. He looked fantastic. You know, the narrative on this is Bellator went undefeated, went 5-0.
Yep.
The only suspect fight, and this guy's my boy too, Juan Archuleta, his was a split decision. I think if you go based off what Rizin usually judges cards, you could see it for that So Chul Kim, but in America, the judges would probably give it to Juan Archuleta, and if you're that other judge, who's the one crazy judge?
Doug Crosby
Would probably give it for Francis Ngannou, even though he's not fighting. Like, wait, what? 30-24 or some shit? That dude's out of his mind. Well, we can get into that. I had no idea who Doug Crosby was. Really delved into it. Because my boy, the Hat. What's his name?
The Hat.
They call him the Hat. Journalist.
Oh, Chuck Mendenhall.
Chuck Mendenhall did a deep dive on him. What's interesting about Chuck Mendenhall is this story that he did on that judge was years ago.
Yeah.
But now it's so relevant. It's like, it's news to us now because, Doug Crosby's all over the news, but was with him in New York, followed him for a few days, dived in deep with him. They talk about it on that MMA Ringer show with Ariel, Chuck Mendenhall, and the British fella who I absolutely adore. And they get into it. It's so fascinating. He's a character, man. I can't believe he's still judging. Mm. He was a stunt man. And that's how, him and Chael are close. Chael had an interview with him, but they're friends, so that's not exactly who you would want interviewing him. You'd want some hard-hitting questions. It's like when the bad press or the shit came out on Liver King, and he called me to do the show. I'm like, I'm not the guy. I'm too nice. And I care about you. You need someone who doesn't really have a relationship with you and is going to ask you real shit. I'm not that guy. When it comes to you, I'm not that guy, dude. So I put him on Schultz's show. I had him do Schultz's show, flagrant, because A, they have no relationship with him. B, they only know him like everybody else knows him off the internet. So they're going to give him some tough love, but also support him. So Schultz was the perfect show for that. It's a great interview too, because they make the Liver King seem human, not just this flash in the pan kind of, fitness guru type of dude, So it was really good for him to be on there. But the point is, Chuck Mendenhall, did a great story on Doug Crosby, and now it's getting big, and he did it years ago. But that was a long rant on this Bellator Rizin card that he has nothing to do with.
Psychopath or not, Doug Crosby?
I would say psychopath. Listen, maybe sociopath. I don't know him well enough. I know he's, he does. His thing is he was a stunt kind of guy in Hollywood, like a stunt director guy. So that's how he's met and had all these relationships with guys. Ariel said he saw him at like Best Buy, and he was like, "Do you know who I am?" And Ariel was like, "No." This is like years ago, and Greg was like, "No," or Ariel was like, "No," and then Doug Crosby like waited for him out in the parking lot, like tore into him, and Ariel was like, he was like, "You don't know shit about fighting, blah blah blah." Yeah, and Ariel was like, "I don't know if the guy was gonna punch me or what. Like, what the hell is going on right now?" It's so interesting. So I don't know. The guy sounds like a character. He sounds very old school. And he was saying, like, when Chuck Manhall was talking about like certain fights, like in rematches, he takes what happened before and adds it to the second fight. Which, hey, bro, that's not how this works. So he's like, it's a body of work. No. Well, hey, that's not how we score fights, though. Yeah, it might be your own narrative, but that's not how this sport works, dude. So I think his biggest thing is his ego too. He feels like, he runs this kind of almost Suge Knight type of way of dealing with the judging. It's fascinating for a judge to get this much notoriety. Doug Crosby attempts to explain judging at Las Vegas MMA gyms. It did not go well, several say.
Yeah, so I saw this story pop up recently, and you're talking about Douglas Crosby. But so Chris Curtis, who's a middleweight UFC.
Love Chris Curtis, yeah. Savage. Great follow, too.
For some reason, Douglas Crosby showed up at Extreme Couture. I guess he was invited by someone, and he wanted to explain how judging works in MMA. And then Chris Curtis was like, oh, cool, I want to figure this out. So, obviously, if you know that information, you know how to fight better, right? To win. So apparently every time they ask questions, the team from Extreme Couture would ask questions, Douglas Crosby would ask questions back. So not giving an actual answer, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, see, that's an ego thing too, right? So, But after a few minutes, Curtis realized he would not get any of the answers he wanted. The more Crosby talked, he said, the more confused him and his teammates became. Every question the judge received, he said, was answered with a question, which is immediately pissing people off.
Of course.
And then Curtis said, I'm trying to get an answer and not have this philosophical Mr. Miyagi effing debate. Curtis told MMA Fighting. At a certain point, he couldn't listen anymore. My family's Southern, said the UFC vet who knocked out Buckley this past Saturday. I'm super respectful, right? Especially when the elder's speaking. I literally walked the F out of his conversation like this. Ridiculous. So a judge in dozens of high-profile MMA fights and longtime movie stuntman Crosby, an official who once referred to himself as a judging genius. This is where the ego comes into play here. You can't have judges with egos. In a combative online tirade, is again at the center of controversy over a pair of scores he delivered at Bellator 289, UFC 282. In the former, his 50-45 score in an interim bantamweight title fight was noted as the only time in database history a losing fighter had swept the scorecards. In latter, he was in the majority of a decision called one of the worst in UFC history. This is MMA Fighting. Okay, there you go. This is hilarious. In the latter, he was the majority of a decision called one of the worst in UFC history, only by MMA Fighting. A unanimous call for Paddy Pimblett over Jared Gordon. Definitely not one of the worst in history. Why don't you go look at fucking the title fight of GSP Johnny Hendricks? That'd be the worst. And that thing just fell off. After a pair of events earlier this month, Crosby and the remaining two judges for the Stotts-Sapatello fight have been ordered to review the fight and score. And if any of the judges are found to be performing below the required level, they could be banned from judging. According to Micah Mazzulli, the executive director of Mohegan Tribe Athletic Department, chairman of the Association Box Commission. All right.
So as far as the worst call in UFC history, I don't think it's just based off of MMA Fighting. It's based off of like the majority of MMA media would say that.
Well, yeah, but so if Paddy Pimblett wasn't one of the most famous guys on the planet, and this was just an undercard fight, or even if it was a card on the main card, this is the co-main event because there's an injury. Let's say it was somebody not, I won't list a fighter because that's not fair to them, but let's say it was somebody not named Paddy Pimblett. It was just a random fighter, debut fighter over Jared Gordon. Would you guys call it the worst call in history?
Obviously.
No, it's stupid. Headlines. They're just doing it because it makes headlines. This gets clicks. There's definitely been worse calls. Now, could I see you give it to Jared Gordon? Of course. Did it go to Paddy? Yeah. Was it a robbery? Probably not. There's been worse calls.
There's people that went back to what, but the majority of people, even me, I thought, well, actually, we were with Fight Companion. It was hard to tell, but I would say the majority of people did think that Jared Gordon definitely won. Yeah. But some people that I think even Kenny Florian probably gave it for him. I forgot who it was, but someone like prominent.
There's been some big names that gave it to him.
Yeah, again, it's not the worst you've ever seen. It might be it's a tough call, but to say it was like a landslide is I mean, that's just being biased because you don't like him. Crosby was part of one Q&A session at Extreme Couture's Eric Thiccc. The main
talked about this before.
The coach walked away with a sour taste in his mouth at interview. Number one outlier among the officials during a Zoom meeting. Alleging the judge was combative and didn't want to be there. Larry Ford to MMA fired a screenshot that he claimed included Crosby's camera view at one point of the meeting, which was angled up at a messing cabinet under a faucet. Yeah, I think he's just, his ego's out of control.
Yeah.
He thinks he's, the Dana White of judging. He thinks he's been doing it so long, his name's so cemented, he can do whatever he wants. But for him to say that he does take into account what happened in previous fights when he's doing a rematch is absolutely insane. The guy's a liability. And this is my thing with Doug Crosby. Does he have some controversial calls? 100%. Is his ego through the roof? Yes. Is he a sociopath? Probably. How easy is it to replace this guy? Is it that tough to just kick him out?
We talked about
somebody
this.
Not so controversial.
So apparently, it's really, really hard to get fired from the commission. Like even if you make really shitty calls. I don't think you
fire him, but can't he give him a leave of absence for some time here?
That'd be great for all judges.
Because why deal with this controversy all the time? If you're a fighter and they're like, Doug Crosby's, judging this, you're like, shit. Like the fighters shouldn't have to be worried about this. One thing they shouldn't have to worry about is the judging.
But thankfully, the commission did change the rules because of this stuff too. Remember?
Yeah, you can't fly a certain amount of
too much
miles. Thank you.
At least they're trying something though.
That does nothing.
They're trying that at least. I don't know.
Try harder. Let's take a little break from me chatting your ear off about the fight game drama. Because listen, everyone has New Year's resolutions. It's a new year, new me. Well, you need to have all the right equipment, the right supplements. You need to get your mind right. You need to start thinking like Jeff Bezos, but you don't have the IQ? Cool. Try Alpha Brain from Onnit. That's right. The number one nootropic in the world from my friends at Onnit. I like the Alpha Brain, the black label, because it's a little more intense Alpha Brain, because I've been using Alpha Brain for years. All right. Think if I wasn't using it, how bad my speech would be. Okay. But here we are. I make a living talking thanks to Alpha Brain, the number one nootropic in the world. Also, you can pick it up at Walmart, or you can use the code onnit.com/Schaub. You save 10% off Alpha Brain, the number one nootropic on the planet. Also, they're so confident you're going to love Alpha Brain. If you don't, no return necessary. You get your money back. That's right. They're so confident in their nootropic Alpha Brain to get you in that flow state. You get your money back, no return necessary. But also, you're trying to get in shape, stay at home. Onnit offers so much like fitness gear. They got kettlebells, steel club maces, battle ropes to get your thick ass in shape. They have streaming fitness. If you don't want to go to the gym, you want to stay at home because you have kids or whatever, your schedule's insane. They have streaming fitness. You save 10% off all that. Also, protein powders, Warrior bars. You have no reason not to get in the best shape of your life this year in 2023. It's that time. It's thick boy season. Go to onnit.com/Schaub. Save 10% off the entire website at onnit.com/Schaub. Now let's get back to the program.
So
with Bellator Rizin, I think it's a good thing. A lot of media didn't cover it. We also had the week off, so we didn't cover it. And with Bellator going 5-0 over Rizin, the production was great. The walkouts were great. Juan Archuleta's walkout and AJ McKee's some of the best you've ever seen. Very Pride-ish days kind of vibes to it. And a lot of people are like, oh, I'd love to see the UFC Bellator. Bellator went 5-0. Hey, Bellator and Rizin need to do this to get traction. UFC doesn't. It would be, this is no shade on Bellator or Rizin or any other organization out there, but that'd be like the CFL being like, oh, I bet we'd crush against the NFL guys. The NFL's going, maybe. Who's this help? We're good. We're crushing it. Why would we switch up our business plan to help you out? They're not going to do it. So stop with all that. The UFC doesn't need to do it. Dana White had a good point, and I do believe this. I think those guys like Horiguchi, Juan Archuleta, Patricio, especially AJ McKee at his age, could give a lot of the UFC guys problems. Are they going to wreck shop? Probably not. There's only one way to find out. They'd have to sign with the UFC. And if you are, let's just be completely transparent here. Let's elephant in the room. Most other shows aren't going to say this. If you were that good, the UFC would have signed you. Now, there are fighters in Bellator who came up through the program and got to a certain point where they should probably be in the UFC, but they're under contract with Bellator and they can't come to the UFC. That's a different story. But if you want to be considered the best, baddest, most popular fighter on the planet, the UFC is the one-stop shop. There's no ins, ifs about it. It is what it is, man. And the UFC doesn't. All these people going, I don't get why Dana doesn't play with Bellator and they do this crossover. Because they don't need to. If I'm Bellator and I'm Rizin or these other organizations, keep doing this. This is different than what the UFC does. Don't try to compete with the UFC and just do the exact same thing UFC does. Because A, you don't have the stars. B, you don't have the roster. C, you don't have the depth. So it's like all these other organizations are constantly trying to just mimic what the UFC is doing. Do your own thing. That's what made Pride special. Pride and UFC couldn't be more opposite. 15-minute rounds, the Grand Prix, the walkouts, the ring. It was always white. It was never in America. They came here once in Las Vegas. I was there, not a big deal, front row. But a lot of their thing was completely different than the UFC. That's what made them special. And they had their own stars. Do your own thing. Don't be a cookie cutter copycat of the UFC. This is completely different. The fan base, especially the hardcores, need to realize all you guys going, the UFC would never do this. Just shows they're scared. No. Why would the UFC change anything? They're making more money than ever. Why would they put shine towards another organization they have nothing to do with? Bellator and Rizin, keep doing this. One championship, do this. And do your own thing, be a different thing than just a watered-down version of the UFC. Because I love this. Bellator, Rizin, the best of the best fight each other. It's dope. I don't need the UFC in there. I don't care. The UFC's never going to do it, so I'm not going to put energy into it. Because UFC, why would you? That'd be like the NBA going over to Europe, being like, "Yeah, we're gonna cross pollinate and do a broadcast." No, why would they do that? They already got the market cornered. Why would they change their business model? There's no need for it. And the problem with this, with Bellator and Rizin, it wasn't put on during American time. There's really nowhere to watch it when it was going on live. I mean, you could wake up I think 4 a.m. and watch it live, but I don't think it was available on like Showtime live. Was it?
I don't know.
I don't think so. So the other thing is just put it on so the American fan base, if you care about that it makes it more accessible. So when they're like, oh, the MMA media is not giving this any shine. Yeah, man. When
you're saying like the UFC versus like these other promotions, it reminds me of the Olympics. Remember Olympics when NBA, like the top NBA players battle and they just destroyed everybody. So it's like, yeah.
And the cool thing is take shots at the big dog. The big dog is the UFC. UFC's too afraid to do this. They don't even consider this.
Yeah, because...
Hold up. Let me switch up my entire business model so you guys grow. And also, I hate to tell you, I think he knows this, but also I don't think he cares. He assumes his fighters are the best in the world. I don't think he gives a shit whether Patricio Pitbull can beat one of his guys. What's he care? Think about the pros and cons. Pros. The UFC roster against the Bellator roster goes 5-0. Cool. Cons, they go 0-5, and then the whole narrative for here on out until you keep doing it is Bellator has better fighters. There's no upside. But if you walk around the streets right now, if you're not balls deep in MMA, you walk around the streets and you say Rizin, they don't know what the hell you're talking about. You mentioned most of the guys, besides Adrian McKee, nobody's going to know who they are. The only upside is for Bellator and Rizin. Nothing for UFC. There's no upside for them. Of course they're not going to do it. Would I like to see it? Of course. But think about it. If you owned a business, would you do it? Absolutely not. Makes no sense. But if I'm Rizin Bellator, keep doing this. Mix in one championship. That'd be great, dude. That'd be phenomenal. Once a year, do this. A big crossover. Your champs versus our champs. It's fun. It's different. It's not a watered down version of the UFC. The walkouts are different. The production's different. The ring's different. The cage is different. The announcers are different. It's dope. I love it. But if you're holding your beat, you're going to pass out if you're holding your breath for the UFC to do this crossover stuff. What else you got, Chip?
All righty. There was a grappling event that happened over the weekend.
I saw this.
Fury Pro Grappling 6. And by the way, Pat Barry, who hasn't done any competing as far as combat sports in 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
He competed in grappling.
In grappling?
Yeah, but he lost. Yeah.
Of course he did.
And so did his girl, Rose.
Which is surprising. Rose is a beast.
65
When
seconds.
I saw she got rear naked choked in 65
By Jillian
seconds.
Robertson,
Jillian
yeah.
Robertson must have
Yeah.
jumped on her like a spider monkey, man. God damn, 65 seconds.
Yeah. Don't want to play the vid, but you can see it online somewhere.
Yeah. She
all
got
over the
tapped
place.
out with her quickness, huh?
Yep. Pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was surprising.
That's not ideal.
Hold on one sec. Oh, so at the Rizin event, Manny Pacquiao showed up. Right? He was with security guards walking through the backstage area, but apparently he signed a contract with Rizin as well
To do what?
Boxing. But apparently he's going to box like MMA guys. So I'm not sure I don't know what the deal is.
So was Rizin like, oh, we see what Jake Paul's doing. Hey, Manny.
And Manny just did an exhibition.
That's a bad example because Jake Paul doesn't have the same background. It's basically, we see what Floyd's doing, still getting numbers. Hey, Manny, instead of doing these weird one-off pay-per-views, finding your former trading partners, how about you doing Rizin?
Yeah.
Be interesting.
I remember Manny just fought that Korean guy that was acting like he was like one of the best. Yeah. And he destroyed him.
Of course.
Yeah. So in an exhibition match. So I guess he signed a contract with Rizin. Hopefully he said hopefully it's going to be more than just one
Isn't Manny
fight.
Pacquiao like trying to be the president of the Philippines?
He's actually part of the government.
I know he's part of the government. He's been part of
somehow,
even when he's fighting, he's part of the government. He's a government official.
Yeah.
Interesting. He has the itch to still do it.
Yeah. So he might have one more exhibition before he does the Rizin fight, but Rizin's supposed to be in 2023 and it's boxing rules apparently.
Interesting.
Against an MMA fighter.
I'll take it. I'll watch it.
Alrighty, some fight
this
announcements.
is a fight, son.
Your boy Marlon Chito Vera and your boy Cory Sandhagen. They're
This
both
one makes my
fighting
wiener hard.
February 18th.
Chito versus Cory Sandhagen, my
It's-
two boys going at it. Hate
At the
to see
Apex
it.
though, which sucks.
Hate to see it, but also love to see it.
Yeah.
Hate to see they're fighting each other, but love to see they're fighting each other. This one is gang busters. Our boy Chito and Cory Sandhagen, sign me up. This should be on a pay-per-view though. I
With
get
the
fight
crowd,
night
at
for
least.
5 rounds, but yeah, Apex Center, interesting.
Yeah.
Great fight though. Phenomenal fight.
Mm-hmm.
Cheeto wins this one. The only thing next for him is a title shot.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
Should be.
Great fight though. Oof. That has fight of the year written all over it.
I'm guessing you don't want to make picks, right? Because you.
Nope. Won't make a pick for that one.
Another one of our
I know who I
boys.
think's gonna win. Oh, this fight.
Yeah. Our boy Adrian
This
Yanez.
one's might be better than Cheeto, Cory Sandhagen, Adrian Yanez, Rob Font, dude.
You like them both too, which is kind of it's going to be tough.
I
for
like them
picks.
both. Adrian's my boy though.
Yeah.
Adrian came to my show in Houston. Such a good dude.
Super cool, dude.
And he was waiting to get a big fight, and he was hoping this fight was going to be in San Antonio. We've had Adrian on the show before. He called in. Such a good kid, man. Stud. And, dude, here's the thing. They're not going to tell you, ain't nobody signed up to fight this kid. They offered him big boys. They turned it down. This is how gangster that New England cartel crew is. Rob Font signed up for it. Because this Adrian Yanez, undefeated in the UFC, this dude has world champion written all over him. But Yanez was trying to get it done to be in San Antonio, his hometown. But I guess Rob Font needed to wait a little longer. So that's a hell of a fight. Such a good fight. And did they say that's a main event or no? Fight night main event?
I mean,
it's only 3 rounds?
would
I need that to be
imagine.
5.
Well, just so far it says booked for a matchup, but I don't see main event.
God, he's got a post-fight bonus in every single one of his fights.
Yeah, you've seen Adrian striking. It's insane. His boxing is insane, yeah. And obviously Rob Font's badass.
Rob Font's great. Yeah, Rob Font's taking some beatings.
It's going to be a
though,
great
huh?
show.
Tough fight for Rob Font.
And this is also super badass. Sean Brady versus Michel Pereira.
UFC. See, this is why I'm glad holidays are over, because now UFC's just dropping fight announcements. My boy Sean Brady, Michel Pereira in the works for UFC ESPN 43 in San Antonio. I told you guys this when Sean Brady lost his fight to Muhammad. I said I feel sorry for whoever has to fight Sean Brady next. Michel Pereira, you're up, dude. You're about to get strangled.
Yeah, that's a badass fight.
Love that fight. These fights are violent, son. This like them freshwater aggressive cichlid. violent.
This one also, Dricus du Plessis, who just really pretty much put a clinic on Darren Till.
Well, first round he did.
Okay. Well, Dricus du Plessis versus Derek Brunson for UFC 25.
Tough fight for du Plessis. Very tough fight. Very tough fight. If it's the same version that fought Darren Till. Because you saw what Derek Brunson did to Darren Till.
Yeah. All right. Here's another. This is kind of shocking when I saw this. So apparently, Bigfoot Silva, who's lost 10 in a row in MMA,
It's his grappling.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. So when it first came out, he said he signed a fight with this guy Haim Ghazali at Brave CF, and then apparently it turned out to be a grappling match. And Bigfoot
He retired.
said, yeah, he retired.
One of the nicest guys, great career. Obviously, what's happened in recent fights doesn't illustrate how good Bigfoot Silva was in his heyday. He was such a savage, and also one of the nicest guys in the sport. Do I hold any grudges against him for training with him and him flying to Brazil the next day, helping Nogueira out? No, I don't. No, I don't at all. Such a nice guy. Great guy, man. Really, really good dude. One of the best guys in the sport. When I saw it, it said big, because obviously the media did it to make it look like he's taking an actual fight. It was like Bigfoot Silva announced his new fight. I'm like, oh, so I screenshot that, sent to Rogan. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And Rogan's like, oh, thank God it's grappling. I said, thank the CT gods.
Yeah. And that's the main quote. Everybody has a limit. So he said his head's the same, but he said his body's just, obviously he's getting older. So I don't know. Either way, it's great that he's retiring from
smaller.
that.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not going to get smaller. This is interesting. I didn't know much about this fighter, but he's from the UFC. Ismagulov. He was actually a killer in the UFC. He just lost one fight against Arman Tsarukyan, who's a badass.
Yeah, super bad. Oh, this guy's great.
Yeah, his record is 24-2.
Oh, no, his pace too against Tsarukyan was insane. And what's wrong with him?
He just said health.
Well, he's a M1 guy.
Yeah.
He's a Russian fella, right?
So he just says there's health issues, so he has to just completely retire from the sport.
What kind of issues?
He didn't go into detail.
That's such a shame.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a shame. The pace he set, oh my God. Tsarukyan was nuts, dude. He was right there with him. That fight could have went either way.
Ferguson, for the first time ever in 7 years, he's dropped from the rankings because, Drew Dober, his really great performance got him to that. Wait, who did Drew Dober fight again?
Drew Dober fought
Bobby Green.
Bobby
Duh,
Green.
that was a great fight,
great
too.
knockout.
Amazing fight.
Great knockout.
He
Drew
was getting
Dober,
just basically picked apart and then just
right
dropped
hook.
him.
Phenomenal.
So he got up, and then for the first time ever, Tony Ferguson's out of the rankings.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Tony's out of Harvard. Do you think he gives a shit about ranking?
It's true. He is.
Those are facts.
Studying, yeah. Your girl,
Yes.
Tatiana Suarez.
Our girl, Tatiana Suarez, aiming for a UFC return in February to end 4-year hiatus
On the
away from the octagon.
And then I looked at her Instagram, and she's going for the 125-pound division for her first fight back.
Yeah, as long as she stays injury free, she's your next world champ. This girl is the Khabib of female fighting. She nobody's gonna stop her.
Yeah.
So the only thing that stops her is her injuries. If she can just get over the injuries, world champion all freaking day, all day. She'll mop the floor with people. We should get her on a food truck.
For sure.
She's local too.
And 4-year hiatus, so the injuries should at the very least be better. Like
Hers was a really bad neck injury, but then also
Just
the benefit
hard.
for her, if you have a 4-year hiatus and because especially in the female division, it's not as deep as the men. So when she comes back, she's still this savage. So they don't give you any warm-up fights. What the blessing for her is because she's heavily grappling based, you can get your bearings underneath you. Yeah, there's going to be some UFC jitters, but if you're a grappler, that always tends to sway towards the grapplers more than if you're a striker.
Yeah.
So because she's so dominant grappling, she doesn't need those warm-up fights. Toss her in there, whoever the hell you want. Good luck.
Yeah. 4 years, though, that's a long time off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Basically like me fighting again.
All right, so UFC, once again. Well, I don't know if this is UFC or ESPN. Who's in charge of this?
Mickey Mouse, Chin.
All right, so most likely ESPN and Disney. But the pay-per-view cost has gone up again from $74.99 to $79.99.
God, $5, man.
Yeah.
The decision marks the fourth price increase UFC pay-per-view since the promotion struck a broadcast deal in 2019. So basically, it's gone up every single year. They're like, we're in inflation, say less, increase the prices. Then Disney went, we're inflation, cool, make an average ticket $400.
And we're still going to buy it. I mean,
No, I haven't been to Disney since they went the woke route. My kids are like, what about Disney? I'm like, forget Disney. How about Knott's Berry Farm? $29.99 all you can eat.
Knott's Berry Farm can be fun if you just
Man, not
bring
if your kid
drinks.
grows up going to Disneyland, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like driving a kid around in a Bentley all his life and then you jump in a freaking Dodge Neon. And their characters are Charlie Brown.
Yeah,
so
still
it's like,
Charlie
where's
Brown.
Mickey? I'm
Snoopy.
like, man, fuck Mickey.
Yeah. So this one, I can't play the video, but it's
Can
basically...
you play it for me?
Yeah.
Just turn down the volume.
So
For those of you
it's-
who listen only, it says UFC Patty Pimlet beats up internet troll and gym challenge.
And by the way, he was so nice to this guy. Like, super nice. You could see him, like, pulling punches, not even hitting that hard.
And there was this troll saying he can beat up Patty.
I guess they were just talking smack online. The
And he
troll was
was
just
like,
talking
oh,
smack.
I'll mess you up. And Patty's
So
like,
Patty
"Come on
flew
down."
him over to where he's at and even gave him money after the fight, too.
And no takedowns, I assume.
Look at how soft Patty's
Yeah,
like,
he's just
hitting him.
toying with him.
Yeah.
You guys all out of shape too. Why is the guy in a hood? Why are they in hoodies? Maybe in Liverpool it's like freezing. They went 3 rounds.
I think 2 rounds and that was it. And
This
the
guy-
guy had actually decent, like, that kick, that question mark kick.
The
He
guy
did a
has
couple
training
times.
for sure. The guy doesn't look like your average internet troll. He definitely has some training. Oh, I turned his back.
But he's not even hitting him that hard.
Patty saw him. Oh my god! Oh, the guy's hands. He's like, ow. The guy thought he was gonna do well.
I guess so. And then Patty
Oh,
hugs him.
See, but
He says he gives him props for even showing up and all
I
that
agree.
stuff.
But this just shows you the nature of Patty Pim. Like, oh, you guys want to hate on this kid? I'm telling you, man, not the one to go for. He's such a good
Yeah.
person. The kid just said, I probably need to go to the hospital.
Patty was just super cool to him.
Yeah,
Super
killed
nice
these
and
guys
gave
with
him money to enjoy
kill these
the
guys with
town.
kindness. Obviously, that guy's life's not going great if he's hating on Patty Pimlet.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's crushing in life that just hate on others. Patty's
So-
looking good too, man.
So yeah, he's not like completely out of shape like he normally is out of camp. Yeah.
He listened. Some of the vets told him, "Hey, man, if you want to take this serious, you can't blow up so much between fights."
Yeah, so Daniel Cormier went on his YouTube channel talking about why USADA is not testing John Jones as much as they should, especially since he's been popped multiple times, right?
Yeah.
The picogram stuff.
Yeah.
So Yuri Prohashka, he's been tested, I think it said 24 times in 1 month or some shit, like some crazy thing like
Maybe
that.
because Yuri's also been way more active than John Jones. So
True,
if
but-
I'm USADA, I'm kind of with USADA on this. It's like, all right, dude, the guy's not competing. He's going to heavyweight. Same thing with Connor. Everyone's like, ooh, test him more. He might be doing stuff. All right. But they're not active. So if I'm USADA, it's like, let's go after the guys that are competing currently right now. These guys, whatever they have injuries or they've had all this time off, we're still going to test them, but not as much. We got to take care of the active fighters.
I'm with you, other than if it was someone that has not been popped before, I'm with you. But this guy has been popped before.
Well, it sounds like you don't want fun.
By the way, I want John Jones to fight heavyweight. That's like a dream come true for
It's
a
happening.
fight fan, yeah.
Here's my thing for all you John Jones haters out there. He could the guys he fought and beat, which is all of them, except for Matt Hamill, which he did beat, but illegal downward elbow.
Yeah, that's not a loss.
So it doesn't matter. Just so you know how steroids work or whatever John did that you assume that he did with the pulsating, all that. Every guy he fought could be taken 10 times the amount of stuff John Jones took.
Especially
They
back
could
then.
not touch him. John, if you're saying because of what John popped for the pulsating stuff and all that shit, if you think that was such an advantage, you're out of your mind. Has he dabbled in stuff? Maybe. I don't know. That pulsating stuff, I don't know enough about it. Sounds like maybe he dabbled in some of the dark arts there, which 99% of the guys that he fought and beat also dabbled in. Look up his track record of guys, his fight history. Look at how many guys have been busted, and he was still able to beat them. So this narrative of John's this bad guy and he's done PEDs and he's the Lance Armstrong of fighting, you're just wrong, dude. Because you're holding that over John's head and then you're fans of Lyoto Machida, Anderson Silva. I'll keep naming guys all day long. Chael Sonnen,
All popped, yeah.
all popped. Everyone, Vitor Belfort, popped. All these guys have popped. Yet they don't get the same backlash John gets. That's how good John Jones is. He's that fucking good at fighting. It's not the steroids. So for them to take a break on him, cool, man. I just want to see him fight.
At the end of the day,
I see what you're saying, though. A guy that there is some, questions there. There's some, pulsating. So there's some questions there.
2 times, man.
Yep, twice. Pulsing is going to pulse. You can't just stop it one day. But I see what you're saying. Guy having that kind of background in PEDs, they should test him more. But this long layoff, and same with Connor. Yeah, dude. All right. So one of the reasons with John Jones was that he was going to come back, but was going to be the most tested guy in the USADA, Cory said on his YouTube. They were going to be on him. They were going to make sure that he didn't have picograms of any of that stuff. Where's his damn test? I mean, why is he not the most tested? Why are you testing Yuri more than you're testing this guy who has a history of having these types of issues? That makes no sense. Because Yuri's active.
So I see your point with the activeness. Yeah, I get that.
Now, if John was as active as Yuri and they're not testing, that's like, what the hell's going on here? But with this, not active, been out a hot second.
But he did pop. Yuri never popped for anything. So anyways, we looked at, this is USADA's website, the test history. In 2022, he was tested 4 times. And Yuri was tested 24 times in 1 month.
Again, hey, USADA, chill. Hey, after 12 in a month though, 24.
I know 24 is insane.
20. Hey, back up, dude.
That doesn't even make sense. That's almost every day of the month. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
Sounds like they're just bored, but it also checks the box for them because clearly they knew Yuri's not going to test hot. So to make you like, we tested so much. Look at this. Yeah, we know he's clean.
All right. Let's go to this real quick. So Jeff Molina, who was a fighter, or he is a fighter in the UFC, but he's suspended now. He's also, his coach is James Krause, and the investigation has not shown too much of what's going on now, but he might be part of something.
Oh, I have some friends who are close to this, and they said we're just getting the tip of the iceberg. It goes deep.
And this is his record. He's a really good fighter.
Yeah, number 14 in the world for a reason. Savage. Undefeated in the UFC.
Yeah.
But the story's going to keep coming out.
Yep.
It gets deep.
Do you want any more? Or you good?
Maybe one more. What's this? Dylan Dennis?
Okay, this is
Is this the best one to end on?
I don't know. We'll see because I can't play the video. But
okay.
So Dylan Dennis was on Ariel's show, and by the way, I completely understand how Dylan Dennis made this mistake. So Dylan Dennis is talking about the Raul Rosas Jr., the 18-year-old, the young phenom from the UFC, and he's looking at the picture at Ariel's studio, who's Verna Jandaroba, the girl that she was made fun of by people because looks at Rob Schneider, kind of whatever.
Yeah.
So, but look at this picture here. So he's talking about, he goes, I'll even fight him. And that looks a lot like freaking, right? It looks so much like that guy. Dude.
Ariel goes, yeah.
And he just changed the subject. But it's
He goes,
so,
yeah.
I feel bad about it, but dude, they do.
You can see how he can make that mistake. And he has sunglasses on. That's the other thing. It's hard to see inside. You ever worn sunglasses inside? Unless you're blind or an asshole, you shouldn't be doing it.
I mean,
that's a Larry David line, by the way. But unless you're blind or an asshole, don't wear sunglasses inside. But if you're Dylan Dennis, I'm not going to hate on you. I like Dylan Dennis.
Yeah.
You can see how he made that mistake.
Yeah.
She's all, what the fuck?
So that was pretty much it.
That's funny. Let's end on that.
Yeah.
We got to get over to Fire in the Kitchen.
All right. Okay. So there's not many fights going on except for our boys.
Our boys this Saturday, unfortunately, HBO, Showtime, the UFC turned down the rights to broadcast it. But my boys from Thiccc Boys Studios, the 2 Georges, have been training. It was only supposed to be 20 weeks, but it's been more like 40 weeks getting ready for this fight. They went from zeros to heroes, pros versus Joes. They did the Alta fight program in Burbank, and they've truly completely transformed themselves. Their confidence is up. They're in shape. They have 2 opponents. And that is this Saturday. Get tickets. Support my boys, man. It's at the Commerce Casino, 6131 Telegraph Road, Commerce Casino, California. It starts at 5 p.m. Pacific. I don't know the fight order. Just get there by 5 p.m. Pacific. You want to see the Georges do work. Their game plans will be made from your boy right here, talking to you right now. If they don't win, they're not allowed to come back to work, so there's a lot of pressure on the line. Just kidding. But I love them both very much. They've really earned their way here at Thick Boy, and they're going to show you their hard work when it comes to the fight game Saturday night. Again, that's at Commerce Casino this Saturday, 6131 Telegraph Road. Come give my boys some support, man. Cheer them on, especially Chito George. You know what that kid has been through, and this just speaks to the magnitude of what kind of character this kid has, and he's just such a good person. Both of them are, man. But the other George, Tall George, listen, his brother's the starting tight end for the Denver Broncos. All right, the kid's going to destroy whoever the fuck he's fighting. So show some support for Big George, Chito George, all right? Outside that, you got Gervonta Davis.
Apparently still on.
Still supposed to fight. He released his own kind of response to the domestic violence stuff. Yeah. Apparently she was doing some stuff there too. I don't know, but he is fighting. It's in Washington, District of Columbia, and that is on Showtime, January 7th, this Saturday. Gervonta Davis, Hector Luis Garcia. Gervonta Davis is must-see TV, so I'm glad he figured it out. But I will be in Vegas this week. First stop on the new 2023 tour, whole new hour. Oh, he Thick is coming to Las Vegas, Nevada. One of my favorite clubs in the country. My favorite owner, Keith, who owns Wise Guys in Salt Lake City. He owns Wise Guys in Las Vegas with Pauly Shore. And Josh Wolf will be making a special appearance there too, doing a set with me. Not sure on what show. He might be doing all of them, might be doing one or two of them. Either way, me and Josh Wolf. But I will be in Las Vegas this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Las Vegas, Nevada. Wise Guys. Tickets are damn near sold out, so we're not adding shows, so get your tickets right now for Las Vegas, Nevada. CES, the technology fair is going on. It's like the biggest convention for all the smart kids out there is going on, so all you nerds, come on out. Come get some comedy, man. Wise Guys this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then Tampa, Florida is the last tour date in January. Tampa, Florida, Tampa Improv, January 20th through the 21st. That's 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday only in Tampa, Florida. Also one of my favorite venues. And then Springfield, Missouri, never been there. I think that's where The Simpsons takes place. Springfield, Missouri, February 3rd through the 4th. We have Bakersfield on there, a bunch of other tour dates. Go get you some at thickboy.com or fatkz.com. That award-winning sweet, thick nectar is available at thickboy.com. We were sold out for the last 2 weeks. During the holidays, we had a real frenzy, like a feeding frenzy of with cichlids when you put blood worms in the tank. That's how people were going after Tiger Thick. But they just restocked at thickboy.com. Also, bourbonoutfitter.com is our official online supplier. So go to thickboy.com, get that sweet, thick nectar, and we take $5 off, all right? So there you have it, man. We got new merch dropping soon as well, but we have new tour merch dropping. I can't wait, and that's in person only. But all the tour dates will also have Tiger Thick at it as well. So if you want to get a bottle there or try it there, come get you some. That's it. First show of the new year. I can't thank you guys enough. We have a bunch of fun stuff coming up for Thick Boy. Same shows as usual. We have some big food truck guests coming up, which I'll announce when those drop. A bunch of companions coming up, some special companions, and some other wrinkles as well being added to Thick Boy. The boys here are working. We can't thank you guys enough. Here's to a great year for 2023 for all you listening, for all you watching this. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for giving us a platform and paying our bills and giving us a job, man. So I love you guys, and Happy New Year, and I will see you in Vegas this Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Love you guys. Be nice to each other. Be safe. See ya.
If you're into Thick Boys, like, subscribe, comment, and God bless America. Well, that's not my big one. Just kidding.